Moving over to the lightweight division now, we got Nallo making his UFC debut, coming in at minus 180, going up against Jai Herbert, who comes in at plus 155. Now, Nallo is on a solid winning streak. You know, this guy is a guy that I've heard about for a very long time, for almost 12 years now. You know, not just because of his talent, because he had, but also because of the crazy nickname he had, right? He used to go by Rat Garbage. I think he's changed his nickname now to Mango, which I think the hardcore fans are, you know, up in arms against. They're like, hey, Rat Garbage is a phenomenal nickname, right? It's very unique. Don't know where the hell it came from, but it was worth note, and that's why I think a lot of people started following him because of that crazy nickname that he had. He started off 5-0 on the Canadian circuit, then he joined Bellator, won his first 2 fights, then they put him up against Kilis Mota. Very competitive battle until Mota was able to start hurting him with calf kicks in the final round, and that was enough for him to eventually get that TKO win. He exchanged wins and losses over his next 4 showings before he headed back to the regional scene. Then he pulled off 4 straight victories, all by finish, to earn himself a spot on the Contender Series, where he took on then reigning champion from Cage Warriors, Samuel Silva. Nallo came in as a slight underdog that night, and I thought Silva's Muay Thai would be too much for Nallo, but Nallo was just too clean, too technical, too crisp, and that allowed him to counter Silva effectively, leading to that knockout victory. It was a beautiful performance. Now, Nallo, even in his post-fight press conference, was like, hey, I know Dana's not looking for old guys, 36-year-olds, but you saw from my performance that I can go out there and put on some highlight reel finishes. Give me an opportunity. And thankfully, the UFC did, and he makes his debut this weekend. You know, it might be a little too late for him to try to make a run in this deep of a division, but he can still go out there and have some performance of the night type performances where he can still make some good money and at least call his career a success at the end of the day. He's a very slick striker. He's also a BJJ black belt, but we often see him lean more on his striking than we do his grappling. Now, this weekend, he goes up against another solid striker here in Jai Herbert, who's looking to bounce back from a loss to Chris Padilla. That was a very close fight. That fight was actually March of 2025, so it's been over a year since we've seen him in action. But that was a very close fight. That was one where it seemed like one guy was waiting on the other to start throwing offense so they could counter it. Like it was Padilla looking for Herbert to throw so he can counter with a power punch, whereas Herbert was looking to just counter with jabs. But it was ultimately Padilla who was able to get the fight into the clinch realm and just chip away at Herbert with knees, and that was enough for, I believe it was a split decision where 2 judges actually scored that fight for Padilla. You know, Padilla now 3-5-1 in the UFC. The biggest flaw in his game has been his durability at times, although it's been 4 years since he's been knocked out, and the guy that gave him that knockout was Mr. Ilia Topuria. Now, if you guys remember, Herbert nearly finished Topuria himself with a nasty head kick that he landed as well, but luckily for Topuria, he was able to survive that and come back with big power of his own to get the knockout win himself. Herbert at his best, good technical striker, good shots down the pipe, kind of long and lanky for the division, and that's obviously helped him out in terms of keeping opponents at bay, but it's when he gets hit by big shots that causes him issues. It's been a while since he's been knocked out, so maybe he is getting more and more confidence in his chin, but that's obviously going to get tested as he goes up against a tough striker here at Nallo. Now, I am kind of surprised the amount of love that's coming in on Nallo. You know, when I did study this fight, it was roughly around minus 160. Now he's up to minus 180. It seems like people really like the knockout that he had against Samuel Silva, but it's tough to overlook the type of experience and technical savvy of Jai Herbert. It's possible that Herbert is the better technical striker, but the type of power that Nallo can possess, but also the BJJ black belt, his ability to potentially threaten with grappling if that's what he chooses to do. I feel like there might be more paths to victory for the Canadian fighter here. So I'm going to go Nallo. I think he eventually lands that big shot and puts Herbert away, but I think it plays out a little bit closer than the odds are indicating as of now. So I'll probably stay off this fight. Maybe if big love comes in on Herbert and we get Nallo closer to minus 125, maybe I'll shoot on him then. But as of right now, I think Nallo, stays competitive in the striking game, maybe threatens with the grappling a little bit. But at the end of the day, I think he ends up landing that big shot on the feet and putting Herbert out by knockout.